is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote.
Hello, peculiars. Well, we have a very interesting show for you tonight, and a bunch of crazy stuff is happening. For instance, Davey's on vacation and in a kitchen and making a super special meal that involves frozen chicken nuggets, which is very exciting, in my opinion. And in addition to that, we have an extra special guest tonight too. Davey, do you want to tell us about your nuggies?
Yeah, when you get down to the last day of vacation, there's only so much food left in the house. So the only protein we got is frozen chicken nuggets. So that's what's in the frying pan behind me right now. We could do a cooking show right now. I can come over here and stir a little bit and
you've got vegetables in there too.
Yeah,
See, it
so
looks
we got
very
working.
professional. I like it. I think it looks
Yeah.
great. So Davey is in Maine again at the lovely cabin that he has shown pictures of before. And and I have to say, I'm very excited about tonight's show because this is a really wonderfully weird book. And I feel like it's all about like Peculiar Book Club ready. You know what I mean? And speaking of which, we've got a couple people. Sareka says hello. Susan says hi. So guys, come on in, welcome. And before we get too much further along, hello to your children as well.
Oh yeah, the house isn't quiet this time. Last time the house was quiet. The house is not quiet this time.
I love it. I love it. Let's welcome our guest, Sam Kelly. That was your ink explosion.
Hey, Sam.
Hello. Good to be here.
Welcome. And this is the other great thing. Sam is also not at home right now. He is in...
I am in Las Vegas. Yes, I live in Los Angeles. But so, fun fact, so we actually prearranged this interview like a year in advance. And so then in between that time, other stuff got scheduled. And I realized that I had booked a trip to Las Vegas for this exact day, at the same day that I'm doing this live stream. But fortunately, me and my dad, who I travel to Vegas with, we always leave at the absolute crack of dawn because we don't like traffic, right? And so we managed to get like settled in the room at like 1 p.m. East, West Coast time, and so I've had like 2 or 3 hours to sort of like
kind of just
prep
chill
for this
out
and sort of calm down.
Right.
I'm not coming in all like sweaty and dehydrated from a
long
car ride.
I'm loving this shirt that you have on right now. Are they pineapples?
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. It's tropical fruits. There's pineapples, there's bananas, and there's some kind of fruit going in a cluster. I don't know if it's mangoes or papayas, but I would eat all of the fruits on my shirt.
It's a very
even if I
shirt.
don't 100% know what they are. All of these are tropical fruits that I would eat. So, yeah, it's all very appealing. And of course, this is Vegas, which, if nothing else, is dedicated to kitsch. And so
completely
this gloriously cornball shirt seems like a perfectly fitting garment.
If you can't show off your bookshelf behind you, at least you can show off your shirt, right?
At least you can show off.
I know,
shirt.
Right?
Yeah.
At the moment, Davey, you've got a green screen shirt. We could play some stuff on top of it.
Oh yeah.
Put all kinds of things on there. We've got people who are traveling too. So Elizabeth is saying hello from Newfoundland.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah, I know, right? And we have, and the Skeptabrarian made pesto a la Trapanese tonight. I don't think I know what that is. You're gonna have to tell me a bit more about it.
I gotta look that up.
I know what pesto is. Ryan Sadie says hello because Ryan and I forgot to say howdy, and oh yes, and loving the book. So we right, because it's a great book. I also thought that it was a lot of we did these little cards for all the books that we did this year. Oh, another one. Mark Hartzman is here. Hey, Mark from New York.
Hey.
Mark's going to be coming back with us before too terribly long too. He's got new things in the works, as you well know.
Yeah, that's right.
But I lost my train of thought. That's okay. It's okay. It was probably not a very good train anyway. but the book really is awesome. And I know what I was saying. The book cards, we made these little cards for the books. And I was asking all of the authors, I said, okay, well, I want give me some strange facts, little things I can put on the back. Give me 3 strange facts I can put on the back of the book. And a lot, they had to kind of think about it. But your book is made for that. So it was really easy.
It's so jam-packed with strange facts that it's almost more difficult to figure out what strange facts do I present as the most eye-grabbing.
Exactly.
There's so much weird stuff.
There is
in the
so
book
much weird
that
stuff.
is totally true and utterly hilarious.
Well, and we had a lot of fun making the little video too, because we riffed off of one of your because you got this huge TikTok. Your TikTok really took off because it's a wonderful TikTok. You guys haven't seen it. It's like the book in miniature. You kind of get these little snippets all through. But we got a chance to pick one and had it for our little video. And then we had a great time finding the little crabs and stuff to make it do stuff. It was great. Dr. Brian is giving us a cooking lesson here. So tomato, almonds, basil, garlic, and Parmesan. Okay.
That's a good combination.
So it's a very different kind of, so it's still got the basil, but you got the almonds instead of pine nuts. I'm liking it.
It has a good variety of different flavors. I dig that. I'm a really big pasta fan. Again, I have autism, so I've got certain texture sensitivities, so I can't always eat every there's some dishes where I think in theory that's a really good idea, but I can't actually eat the texture. But at least in theory that sounds delicious. It
works.
So yeah.
And food, we love food, we love all the stuff, but so I want to get started. Before I get started, I will also do some announcements because I always do. But I like to kind of get off the ground with a little bit of a softball question, which is basically, how did you come to write this book? What pulled you in this direction?
Yeah, so this book it started out as being sort of a consolidation of my passion type thing. For a long time, I was just totally fascinated with researching. I majored in history in college. I've always loved history. And so I was really fascinated in looking for quirky stuff behind the scenes of history, the kind of things that you don't really hear in your history classes. But
Preach, my friend.
Exactly. But are so much fun. And so for a long time, I had a period where I was sort of kind of trying to figure out what job would work for me. And I was sort of trying to go in between things. But in the meantime, I would post on social media all these things I wrote up about various historical figures. And I'd have a couple people say to me, Sam, this is great stuff. You could put this together and it could potentially be like a book someday if you really get down to business and get a bunch of these stories. And it occurred to me, that sounds better than the things that I've been trying to do. That sounds more like my passion than the things that I've been trying to do. And so over the course of 6 or 7 years, I ended up getting enough material to create a book that has 40 different historical figures or groups in it. And so it was this long-term project where a bunch of people around me told me, Sam, why are you not writing a book? This could be a book. And eventually I figured, you know what, people around me, you might be right. I should write something
here. Well, actually, that's kind of how the Peculiar Book Club got started, because I kept complaining that there wasn't a book show for nonfiction that was fun, where you did fun stuff. And
I get that.
And people were like, you could make one. And so we did. And this actually, we had we've been going, it's our 7th season and it's our 5th year as a Facebook group too. So we've passed a lot of milestones.
Very nice.
Susan Ballinger said, what you just described sounds like the inside of my brain. Random facts and trivia.
Absolutely. Just
Brian in Atlanta says hello, everyone, too. We've got a great group of people. And it's kind of we have such a motley crew, and it's really nice because people from all over the place, people from all over the world. Hi,
absolutely.
Abby. Abby's here too. Hello, Abby.
Hello.
And they really make the club what it is because we're all just a little bit weird, and it kind of cool. Oh, that was you, Abby. Sorry. Abby says Brian is my husband. Sorry. So that was Abby saying hello.
There we go.
And Skeptobrain says, my brain is chock full of useless information from years of reference work. That is the most beautiful brain, though.
That is glorious. No, I can relate to that on so much. But the question is it really useless, or have people just not appreciated the use you found for it, right?
See? That's what I'm saying, Sam. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so much information it feels like trivia that you just keep around for fun chatter, and then it turns out if you collect enough of this stuff, you actually have enough material to put it down on paper, and all of a sudden you
Whoops.
these things over the years, and it's amazing what turns out to be relevant, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like metadata.
Yeah, I think for our audio listeners, I think Sam's hotel internet is glitching just a little bit every now and then, but you're okay, Sam. You just keep going.
Okay.
You just keep going. We're good. Also, it's a minor glitch, I'm happy to say.
Oh, good. Good.
It does make you good at trivia. Skeptobrain says she's kind of a boss at trivia. But you know what else, though? I find personally, so you're in a weird situation. There's a bunch of people you don't know, and you are autistic. And so sometimes it's much easier to be like, people just look at you funny and you think, oh no, I have to talk now. But it's much cooler just to whip out some random trivia and be like, did you guys know? And then immediately the spotlight is off you and it's off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's very nice.
No, I definitely, I've been there.
So where do you go first? When you need to pull one of these names out of your hat? Who's your favorite from the book? Who do you go to first?
My favorite from the first book, like who's
like when someone says we need weird trivia, what do you snap up?
There are so many great choices, but I always think that one of my favorite ones is the fact that Pope Leo the 13th, not the current Pope. The current Pope is Pope Leo the 14th, but the guy who the current Pope is named after loved cocaine wine so much he did a full-page advertisement for it after giving a Vatican gold medal to the person who created the cocaine-infused wine. And so this is again, this guy was Pope. I think he became Pope when he was 68 and was Pope up into his 90s. And so he was a very old guy. But in the history of the Catholic Church, there have been about 300 encyclicals, which are these big letters declaring important Catholic doctrines. And this one guy wrote almost 90 of them. Because he just had so much energy. 11 of those are just about rosary beads. So this is a guy who had so much energy, often for very minute things, and it turns out like he is openly a user of cocaine wine, and even says he carried a hip flask of it because he said it was to fortify him when prayer was insufficient.
I like this guy a lot.
That is probably the. I did not expect that at all. I was like, there's a cocaine loving pope, like, and this is not just a cocaine loving pope, a cocaine loving pope who is still widely respected as a brilliant church father. Like, the current pope is named after him because he's so well respected in the Catholic Church.
Maybe that's how he got all the energy to write all these encyclicals, right?
That is absolutely how he got.
Took lots and lots of cocaine and didn't sleep at all.
He drank massive amounts of cocaine wine. And the thing was, at the time, you could buy cocaine wine in the supermarket. This same cocaine wine called Vin Mariani. They sold it in the UK and in the US, and Thomas Edison drank it, and Ulysses S. Grant drank it, and Queen Victoria drank it, and all these famous celebrities all over the world drank it. But the Pope was the one who gave a gold medal to the creator and appeared in a full-page advertisement.
Yeah, Blake's here with me. I think that might be the moral of the story. Like, if there's a theme throughout the book, it's that, like, these people were on drugs, but they also accomplished a lot of stuff on those drugs. Like,
yeah,
it kind of worked for some of them. I mean, not in a healthy way, but
yeah, no, that is absolutely, like, the people in my book, generally speaking, if they appeared in my book, they had some kind of extraordinary, for good or bad, they had some kind of major historical achievements. They made some kind of very impactful role on history. But again, like, sometimes it works out fairly well for them. Like, The cocaine Pope, things actually worked out fairly well for, but other people in my book, their drug use was disastrous for them, and in many cases was disastrous for entire societies, if not continents. I mean,
Yeah.
a good example would be like, I mean, Adolf Hitler's in my book, and his massive drug addiction to methamphetamine and oxycodone and cocaine and all kinds of other stuff. That was very clearly not good for the world.
Not
That
good
was
for anybody.
bad
Yeah,
for everybody
bad
involved.
for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Abby says Coleridge was fond of his opiates, and that's
yes,
true.
he was.
He also got constipated really badly from all of his opiates, and writes about it a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he was in my book. He and that was such an entertaining thing to do with him having Kublai Khan come to him in an opium-induced dream. And so he awakens from his opium reverie and is like, I've got this amazing poem. I got to write this down. And then he gets a visitor at the door. And he is so high that it takes him like an hour to get the visitor to go away. And by that point, he can't remember what the rest of the poem is. So for the rest of his life, he's convinced, no, this is just a fragment. And so it's considered one of his best works, but it's like 50-something verses, and it was supposed to be over 300. He had so much more planned, but then he's like, I forgot it all. That guy ruined my high.
You know, for audiobook listeners, they'll know what I'm talking about, but you get these memories. Like, I was on this hike when I listened to this story. Like, every time you do that hike, you think back to that story. And I was definitely picking the kids up from the grandparents' house, from my in-laws' house, and I was getting out of the car listening to that story and I was walking the front driver listening to talk about the story that was never finished.
The story, yeah, as Susan says, real buzzkill there.
Absolutely, yeah. That was his complaint.
Visitors are buzzkill, right? But what I think is so great is I spent a lot of time. I actually an albatross around his colon. Sadie, you're on fire tonight. You and Susan. Instead of around his neck, the albatross comes from the other poem that Coleridge wrote, the
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yeah, which also I think probably drugs helped make happen.
Yeah, that poem is ridiculously trippy. I remember thinking when I was reading on, like, I remember reading it in high school and being like, it's like, did I not get enough sleep last night? Because this is some surreal stuff. This is weird.
Well, most of it, I'm kind of cool. I'm like, okay, I got it. You know, because I the 18th century, this is my period. I studied this. I got a PhD in it. I'm like, yeah, okay, this tracks. But then the blessed slimy serpents, there was like some stuff that just appears all of a sudden. I'm like, no, I think drugs did that. I think that was drugs.
Yeah. No, it gets seriously strange. Strange.
It does. I actually, oh my gosh, see, I forgot to do the announcements. You guys, this happens every time. If you're a fan of the show, we get going and we start talking about Coleridge's colon, and then the next thing you know, I forget about the announcements. But he really did. I had to write a paper about him and his constipation for class. It's complicated. Anyway.
That's great. That's great.
You can meet us on social. We're all over the place. I think we're on all the socials that are. And we are, especially, we have a very large group, excuse me, large page with a big following on Facebook. And we also have a private Facebook group. If you're not part of that group, please do think about joining. It's private. So that means we can be weird without having people say blasphemous shit at us. We just go and, let our freak flag fly, which is really hard to say. We are also on Blue Sky, and I am particularly on Blue Sky, so you can always reach me there, and you can send us emails. And next we have, I think the next one is the newsletter, is it not? It is. Ooh, I've only been at this for how many years, and I still forget what order the slides have been in. The newsletter is great, because for those of us who are just really freaking tired of social media and you just don't want to go up there anymore, I can just email you. I can just send you the links and fun stuff and musings and, book links and other things. So join for our newsletter. The link is there. You can also get to it from our website, which is peculiarbookclub.com. I don't know what's next. Oh, yeah. So you can join as a peculiar member. So we are all members in my book, but you can join as a VIP. And when you join as a VIP, you get a couple of extra things. You get to get cool digital swag every month. Some cool digital stuff drops into your inbox. You get to go backstage with the authors in the green room. You can see extra content. You get to recommend books, and we have extra shows. We have extra shows this coming year. We'll have our big Halloween party, and also a live mystery show game thing, mystery game thing. You've played these before, right? You remember during COVID they were all the rage. But anyway, we're going to do one of those as well. And I'm trying to convince Mary Roach to join us and a couple of the other authors, because it'd be really fun if they were characters. So yeah, do join us on PayHip. It's as little as $5 a month. It really does help us out. We're it's not like we ever make any money, but sometimes we're a little bit less in the red than at other times, and so it really helps. I think next is our drink. Yes. So this is your book cocktail. First of all, everybody, a round of applause, please, for this beautiful image that Kat is our drinks maven, and she created this. Look at this gorgeous picture. Everybody clap. That is
wowza.
Fantastic.
It is pretty awesome. It's so, like, I feel like you could frame that. Like, that's art. Anyway, the name that won, because we all vote on this over on the Facebook group, is Mystic Mayhem Juice. And it's got all kinds of crazy stuff, including Kool-Aid in it.
Nice.
So spearmint, basil, Kool-Aid.
It was a good battle for this one. The runner-up was Astronomically Lime.
Yeah, that's right.
There's some good names in there. Some good names.
There was.
All right.
And then next. Davey,
last but not least, the Peculiar Movie Club is still going slowly. We're behind a few months, but I really wanted to have our May episode recorded before we went on vacation. The Godfather, but me and Darren just couldn't connect, so we're gonna probably record it very soon. Very soon. Look forward to it. And I gave me the time to do a full deep dive. So not only have I watched The Godfather, I watched The Godfather Part 2, and then I watched The Godfather Part 3. And I've been watching YouTube videos on the background and the history of The Godfather and the making of. So I'm turning myself into a Godfather expert. For June, we're still planning on doing the Brilliant Minds TV show, and I'll let you know what episodes we end up picking for that. For your book, Sam, a drug movie, like there's so many to choose from, right? We could have done Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. We could have done.
I do see that you have picked a hard-hitting one.
Yeah, from everything I read, it just seems like Requiem for a Dream seems to be the most accurate to the experience of taking drugs.
That is a experience of people doing hard drugs and destroying their lives. I mean, that is a good example of the kind of thing where, like, my book sends the message that drugs are tools, and this is an example of people horribly maiming themselves with those tools. Requiem for a Dream is a sad movie. I mean, it's a well done movie, but it is rough. I mean, it is a tough watch.
So it might not be the most enjoyable one, but you know what? It's going to be an experience that we're all going to go through together. Maybe you already went through it. Maybe you watched it in college. I don't know.
What I think is interesting is that Davey's like, I had a choice between Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke and Requiem for a Dream.
I really wanted to do Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke, to be honest, because I feel like that's the Godfather of taking drugs movies, maybe. But like,
I mean, that's just like a dichotomy, though. It's like, well, we could have Hogan's Heroes, or we could have Come and See. So either way, like,
Jacob's Ladder,
yeah. Oh my God. You made me laugh so hard that now my face hurts.
Stay tuned. You got to subscribe to the podcast feed if you want to hear these. But stay tuned. Me and my podcast partner Darren do real deep dives on these.
Actually, please do subscribe to the podcast. Our podcast is really fun. We actually do several different things. We do, these shows appear as podcasts. We also do the movie club. I say we. I don't do the movie club. But the collective we does the movie club.
Yeah.
I do the mystery club. So I interview people who do true crime and mystery novels, and I haven't done that in a little while because my life has been sort of upside down lately, but we do that as well. And I also do upcoming new releases. So sometimes where something's coming out and we plan so far ahead for our shows, we can't get them in for a video show. So what's fun is actually Sam appeared on our podcast as of a new release last year, and then he's come back to be with us. So and that does happen with some regularity where, you know, we bring people back in when we can. So it's a great place to find new books. It's a great place to see cool stuff. And I just think movie book crossover stuff is just super cool and fun. And I love the movie club. I'm glad we do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And we get
Good
into
stuff.
themes. We find the themes
Yeah.
in your book and connect them to the
Themes.
movie. We try. Yours gonna be interesting because it's a lot of stories. So
It is.
Oh yeah,
the theme is that this has never stopped throughout history. That's really the theme.
No, it
yeah,
hasn't.
no, absolutely.
Oh, and
yeah,
Sadie
no.
says we can watch. Sadie says you could watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas too.
That one, yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one as well.
The final scene of that one messes me up. You're just kind of like, oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that strikes more of like it's still a really messed up movie, but there's more comedy in it.
Yeah.
Whereas
there is.
whereas Requiem for a Dream is like a very well done movie, but it kind of like repeatedly punches you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby says you could have done Dazed and Confused or nothing. Dazed and Confused.
Think how many there are. We could. Yeah. What's the one with Seth Rogen? The Pineapple Express.
There's Pineapple Express. There's Half Baked with Dave Chappelle.
That's right. Now
there's alcohol in your book too. We could have done like I'm just thinking Bad News Bears and the coach is just drunk the whole movie. I'm sure there's better drinking movies than that, but that was the first one that came to mind.
I love the fact that now everyone is listing every kind of electric Kool-Aid acid.
Oh yeah,
Kool-Aid, cool.
Yeah, it's like Ken Casey was in my book. That absolutely is like relevant.
Yeah,
they were traveling around the country in a rainbow painted school bus, giving LSD to people. I mean, they're pretty much the reason that that hippie fashion existed as it did. And plus, you've got Ken Casey. He was having these LSD parties at his house. Not far from, it was very close to Stanford, and the Grateful Dead were from Palo Alto, and so they were the house band at his party, and that's where they got their start, was performing at like LSD parties thrown by Ken Casey in the woods near Stanford.
Do you know what? There are times when I sort of feel like there's a whole, like, I just have had such a safe life. Like, I'll never be at a Grateful Dead concert in the woods at an LSD party.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
To be fair, most people weren't. You had to be in the know and like know Casey and his buddies, and from there, they would go out and like evangelize psychedelics to people and just give out drugs for free. But at that point, it was like and honestly, you probably wouldn't even want to go to those parties anyways, because this is not like this is not what I would consider an ethical thing to do, but it was very early in the process. They would dose people with LSD who didn't like know it. They would just drop tabs in the punch bowl, and it's like, oh, surprise, you just ingested a full tab's worth of LSD, haha. And also there's tons of Dayglow paint and weird flashing lights to try and freak you out. They were absolutely trying to freak people out there, but it was supposed to be
but there's a fascinating science behind LSD too, and the things that they were trying to use it for. I have never, I didn't have cool friends. Actually, I didn't have friends. That's part of it, but not as a child anyway.
Yeah.
Not as a
I get that. I get it.
I did have a friend who, now if I wanted marijuana, which I am allergic to marijuana, so actually I don't want marijuana. If I wanted that, my dad grows that stuff, like, and it's legal now, but so it's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if I wanted something that was homegrown. But as far as LSD parties, that was not in my wheelhouse, nor coca wine, though it sounds very intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, that was the coca wine was very much like a 19th century and the very beginning of the 20th century thing, because after that they started cracking down on cocaine more and started illegalizing it.
Well, people just chewed coca leaves like we do coffee. I mean, that in the where coca leaves live.
Oh,
right?
yeah, and in Peru and Bolivia and such, that's still normal. People kids do that, and it's not considered weird or dangerous to them.
Right. Well, also it's not highly refined either, so it's not quite like you're taking a. We like to make it like worse. We get it and make it super worse.
Absolutely, like a chewing coca leaves. That's maybe 5% at most cocaine by volume. So it's a very small amount of cocaine.
Microdosing.
Like they're basically microdosing it, and it helps stave off altitude sickness, helps people work for longer, helps reduce hunger. So it's
you
been
can write all these encyclicals.
it's very it was very useful in all these like agricultural pastoral communities for people just to get work done. But then a bunch of European scientists realized, hey, we can concentrate this stuff
Yeah.
and turn it into a very, very potent, like, you know, a very potent stimulant. And this stuff is fantastic. So for a lot of the 19th century, they were just putting it everywhere. I mean, that's where that was how Sigmund Freud got into it. When Freud was getting into cocaine, and Freud did cocaine for like
he
12
loved
years on an
cocaine.
almost constant
yeah.
basis, right? When it starts out, he would just send letters to pharmaceutical companies saying, "Hello, I am a respected member of the medical establishment in Vienna. Can I please have some free samples of your product?" And the chemical companies would be like,
I love this idea.
"He top purity cocaine to this guy just endlessly. He never ran out of cocaine to the point where he thought it wasn't addictive because he didn't actually run out of it."
Because he didn't ever have to. He was always taking it. How do you know? It's like, do fish know they're in water? Isn't that the like, fish?
Pretty much,
right?
Pretty much, exactly.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Oh, there are cocaine. Susan Ballinger was just saying there's cocaine eye drops, right? And
yes,
that's a paralytic. Like they use that to do eye surgery and all kinds. Imagine eye surgery before we could paralyze your eye. I mean,
horrifying.
I worked in a medical history museum, right? So like we did a lot. And Davey's been to this medical history museum. I used to work there, and there's a lot of like, oh, your sound's not on, Davey.
I think you mean the torture museum.
Torture museum.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I used to do these tours would come in and I would demonstrate how to saw off a leg. And then I would tell them like, and you're awake, because we can't do anything about that. Sorry, there's no anesthesia.
No, the fact that most of history was before anesthetic for surgery, but people still did surgery in those times, and it was a gruesome meat grinder procedure. Just
so
absolutely horrifying.
You know, like if you could get the drugs, you'd be like, yeah, I'll have some. I mean, that's what drugs.
The development of anesthetic was a huge win for humanity.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, like, I didn't really think about it that much until I had my first root canal. And then I was I'm glad I don't feel this right now. Like after feeling it, I'm glad I'm not feeling it at this moment. So you don't really think about stuff like that until you have something sort of catastrophic happen. And then you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's truly something that would be painful enough to break your mind just becomes like a dull ache. And it is extraordinary how that is one of the truly great developments in modern medical science is the creation of, because up until anesthetic exists and is widely used, and I think ether is one of the first anesthetics they use, because funnily enough, people had actually been using ether to get high at parties, and then the people at the parties realized, wait a minute, a bunch of our friends at these parties will get injured and not notice it at all. And they'll feel no pain. And some of those guys, because they were mostly highly educated people, some of them were doctors. And so they're like, what if we give ether to a patient? And so then it turns out that all of a sudden you don't have to do surgery as fast as you possibly can, because you're sawing into some screaming awake person, but instead the person's actually not awake. So you can take your time and do things like use precision and be careful. And that was like a new thing that had not been possible up until then.
And it's what's fascinating to me is that you know, we had, I mean, whiskey was like, basically, if you were going to have surgery, someone would dose you with some whiskey. I mean, so we even had, even early on, alcohol, drugs, the usage it wasn't because people wanted to be drug addicts. You know, and I think that's another thing I got out of your book, is that people didn't go like, I would like to be an addict and so take drugs. It was for something. It was part of the culture somewhere. It was doing something people didn't know was dangerous. There's all sorts of reasons that people got involved in these things. And then of course, you know, there are plenty of people who knew better and knew not to, who did, but like early on, nobody knew stuff was dangerous. I mean, like you said, cocaine was in laudanum. You know, you'd give basically hard drugs and alcohol to babies to make them stop crying.
They would combine opium, and they would combine alcohol, and they would sell it in just about any corner store, barbershop. Like, it's like, hey, is your baby teething? Give them a few drops of this. Like, it was just used for everything, and there was no way. It's like, they say take a few drops, but nothing stops you from swigging half the bottle.
Right, of course.
There's
Actually,
not really any measures to prevent you from wildly abusing this incredibly powerful drug you have.
I have this memory, and Davey, you can maybe jump in. This must have been from something. I feel like it was a book club related memory, but where somebody was talking about their dad gave up alcohol, but then would go through like 6 bottles of cough syrup.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but sounds
like that
something that would come up on the show.
It does. Well, peculiars can let me know if that's true. Well, I just noticed, because we're having such a good time, it's already the half point, and it is time for a musical interlude, Sam. So,
Nice.
and we're excited to share it with you. And then there is a little bit of a comedy sketch. You know, Davey, in addition to being on vacation and cooking nuggies, he also has been experimenting with a little bit of tripping himself. Other kinds
I've
of
also been experimenting with After Effects, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, here is our musical interlude.
Oh, hello, peculiars.
It's us, Charming Disaster.
Throughout human history,
And non-human history.
individuals have enjoyed psychedelic experiences.
Much like this one.
Here's a little recipe to help get you going.
Take a walk through the garden.
Now the waxing moon is high.
Gather up
the
pale night blossoms
To quell your heart's desire,
say the words
long forgotten. Blow the smoke and fan the fire.
circle up.
Something's calling. Time has come to fill the sky. Hellboy, henbane, mandrake, moonshade, hemlock, wormwood, foxglove, monk's bud.
Scrape the earth with your fingers.
Dig deep and find the root.
What's the key?
What's the key?
To its danger, will it be revealed to you? Hellboy, henbane, mandrake, moonshade, hemlock, wormwood, foxglove, monk's bud, milkweed, snakewood, yew tree, bloodroot, angels, trumpet, poppy, death's cup. You don't know all the secrets, but you can glean the truth. It's beyond good and evil. Burn the leaves and eat the fruit. Hellboy, henbane, mandrake, moonshade, hemlock, wormwood, foxglove, monk's bud, milkweed, snakewood, yew tree, bloodroot, angels, trumpet, poppy, death's cup, hellboy,
Happy Death's Cup.
That was very cool.
Isn't that fun?
I really enjoyed
rock.
that. That was a ton of fun. That was like well done. Well done.
I actually have a number of those things in my garden. So.
A lot of them are very pretty ornamental plants. That was a really cool song. A lot of really great deep cut references there. Not that people like he.
A little bit of a
Just to be
freeze up
clear,
there.
you should maybe not eat a lot of those plants.
Yeah. Not
like
not good
the-
to eat them necessarily.
Yeah,
Hellebore
no,
in particular.
yeah, or angels trumpets. I mean, is that Datura? Are they talking about Datura like Hell's Bells? Like local
You know what? I'm
weed?
not sure. I would have to ask them because there's also that one kind of. Oh no, I take it back. I was thinking of Death's Angel, which is a type of mushroom where if you eat it, you die, but first you get sick and then you get better and then you die anyway. Which is really unfair.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of that was just a fascinating like pharmacopoeia of different
Right.
like plants.
Susan says,
with
yeah,
chemical...
Datura. Datura is the right one.
Yeah, no, like Datura is a really messed up. I remember reading about Datura in Mark Twain when I was in school, and he didn't call it Datura. He would call it things like loco weed or Jimson weed. But I remember him
yeah.
talking about how it caused insanity in livestock.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, this thing can drive like a cow or like a full grown bull can be driven insane by this stuff. So it surprised me later in life to learn that there are people who actually eat it voluntarily.
Oh yeah.
It's not a good idea. Like
No,
that again,
no.
Datura is actually a beautiful ornamental flower. A lot of those plants are gorgeous, but
Yeah.
under no circumstances should you ever eat them.
Right. So Abby says, I am reading that book right now. So
Hey, thank you.
see?
Thank you. Woo!
It's also in his autobiography. That's so sweet. So you know what? I have an apothecary garden. So I have a lot of things. I have skullcap. I don't have monkshood. I do have hellebore, right? There's
Yeah.
various things, but like anything is poison if you eat enough of it. I mean, if you drank enough
Oh,
water,
yeah.
you could die. So I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
relative term.
It has happened. It has happened many times. But but yeah. Just a lot of those plants are. I like it's easy to see why in a different day and age they were widely used in medicine, but I can
Sure.
also see why nowadays there's less things with fewer side effects and that are more reliable.
Right. But you know what? The way
so-
I look at it, when society collapses, we're gonna need some of these things again. So
It is useful knowledge. The knowledge of what plants have medical uses is one of the classic bits of traditional knowledge that is very useful in any survival situation.
it is because you just and like I said, at some point, I mean, we've read dystopias. We're living in a dystopia. I mean, like
Yeah,
there's
no,
gonna be
absolutely.
opportunities. So I have a question, and here it is. So in the book, you have all these different types of drug organized situations. What is the oldest in the book? Because I was trying to remember what was the oldest instance of drug use. Was it in the Egyptians, or what was the oldest one that you talk about?
It's hard to say what the old. I mean, because the first one that I talk about in my book is the Oracle of Delphi huffing
Right.
fumes that are coming out of the ground in a cave. But again, huffing fumes that give you visions was not a common thing among most people. The Oracle of Delphi was, I mean, it was an order of priestesses, but it was still a pretty specialized thing. But I would say probably the oldest drug that there is alcohol, because you can get alcohol by accident. I mean, animals in nature have gotten drunk. There have been stories of like elephants eating, like knocking down palm trees that had fermented sap, or bears eating fermented berries and going on rampages and messing up towns because they were absolutely
Cocaine
hammered.
bear.
It is the ancient version of that, because alcohol is so easy to create by
Yeah.
accident. It is probably like since before recorded history, it is very
Yeah.
likely that people have been using alcohol. There are some, I think it's kind of a fringe theory. There's some theories that like alcohol actually jump started evolution. I wouldn't go that far. But I would say that the use of alcohol by human beings as a deliberate thing was probably the first time that
Right.
people really tried to institutionally produce drugs. They realized like, if I leave these berries out for a certain time, suddenly
Right.
I feel funny when I eat them. Like, and that's a very like a caveman can figure out how that works. So I mean, it's not going to be
Birds
good
can figure that out.
alcohol. Yeah, right.
Right? I
So
mean, like birds do this on purpose. There's some kind of bird that every year does this. I forget. I know I've seen it on
oh
Animal
yeah, no,
Planet or whatever.
animals will just leave these berries to sort of like ferment, and like you know, it doesn't require human intelligence to figure out that fruits and like sap can go bad in a way
In an
where it's
interesting
like
way.
this, like in an interesting way where all of a sudden you feel really funny when you consume it. And so I would say that's probably the oldest human drug experience, is
Yeah.
probably inadvertently consuming
Right.
some berries that were past their due date and becoming drunk.
That's interesting. So now it's funny because I accidentally made some mead in my cabinet. You know, we had honey in a jar, and if
Yeah.
you're not very careful, because it doesn't take much. If you have your honey out, yeast can get in there, which is the only thing
Yes.
that takes really to turn honey into mead, pretty
Yeah.
much. So one day, and by the way, having honey explode in your cabinet is a
Ooh.
problem, cleaning wise.
Wow.
It's
Yeah. No.
really
No
wet.
doubt. Like
I
that.
thought
That'll attract ants.
I
That'll
thought a
get some
pop
ants
can
in there.
exploding in the freezer was bad, but yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But yeah, so we accidentally did that, and that was just because there's yeast in the air. There's just
Oh
yeast,
yeah.
like right here. Some, see, here's some.
Yeah.
Just
It's like
in the
ambient.
air.
It's around us.
Yeah, I love it. So okay, so that's kind of the oldest one then. I think I probably agree with you. I know the history of synthesized drugs really well because of my medical history
Yeah.
background, right? Like when they first discovered, well, hilariously they actually gave heroin approval before aspirin because they thought aspirin might have side effects.
Oh yeah.
Might
Yeah.
have
All
gotten that
these.
one a little bit mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Definitely. Like the fact that they sold heroin as being like, it's like morphine, but it's that was probably a mistake, given that it's actually very addictive. I
Well,
mean,
and
like.
heroin because of like hero made you feel like a hero.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
there's a reason that
like
those words are
yeah,
connected.
yeah. No, Bayer names it because it makes you feel heroish, like it makes you feel heroic. So and
Yeah.
it's just like, so it's like a German brand name that becomes
But
like
also,
a
I mean,
generic term.
all this stuff, so much of this stuff, they used coal tar. They basically were like, we have a bunch of coal tar left over from industry. What kinds of stuff can we pull out of this crap? And they
Oh, yeah.
built drugs out of it. It's just aspirin from coal tar, heroin from coal tar. I love that story. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly. Yeah. No. That there. It's like, how do we optimize the value of this? How do we extract the most value out of whatever we're doing? Some people would say, "Oh, this is toxic waste. You can't use this." But we say, "No, we
We're
will
gonna turn it
pursue
into
science
drugs."
to the absolute end." So yeah.
It's crazy. It's so funny and disturbing at the same time.
Yeah. It really
So-
is.
I noticed that it is coming along towards 7:50. Davey,
Oh.
is it time?
We have our sketch. You forgot about our sketch?
Oh my gosh, we've got a sketch first. Holy crap.
We
Oh,
have
goodness.
a sketch, but I need
forgot.
you,
I must
Sam.
be
I
on
need
drugs.
you to tee it up a little bit for us. So, can you tell everybody very quickly about the guy who was working with psychedelics and acid? The guy invented acid and then had to take a bike ride home.
Yes. So this is a great story. So in Switzerland, so as you guys may or may not know, so Switzerland was neutral during World War II. Switzerland is big on being neutral. And so during the 1940s, there was a Swiss scientist who is working on some medication. And so he's trying to get ergot fungus to become some kind of useful drug. So he does a bunch of experiments with it, and at first it doesn't seem to do anything. But then there's one that makes the lab animals seem really excited, but otherwise doesn't seem to do anything. at first he's just like, oh, a curiosity, but then he comes back to it later and is like, no, I should try this out. And so he decides, okay, I'm gonna take a really tiny dose, that he thinks it's a dose that would barely be perceptible. But it turns out that acid is really, really potent, like So it turns out that he's invented LSD by messing around with this ergot fungus that has lysergic acid amide, or LSD. Created this derivative. And so it turns out that he ingests in this small amount the equivalent of 2.5 full tabs of potent acid. And this is the first time that anybody in the world has ever ingested acid. So for the first time anyone ever does it, the guy takes 2.5 tabs worth. And then he realizes, okay, things are getting weird. The world is starting to get all like melty around me. I should probably go home. And so he gets his lab assistant to accompany him home, but so they just bike home, and as he's biking home, it's like he's biking through a Salvador Dali painting, and the whole world is melting around him, and it's absolutely crazy. So this guy, Albert Hoffman, the scientist who invented LSD, this was what they call Bicycle Day. I believe it was
Bicycle Day.
Yeah, it was
penny in for a pound, says Susan.
Yeah, I think April 19th, 1943. And that was the first time that anybody ever did LSD in the history of humankind. And it was this dude. And again, for 10 years, LSD was used in psychotherapy and actually had results for treating anxiety and for treating depression and for dealing with other issues. But then there was a 1-2 punch of, well, hippies got into it as a recreational thing. So a bunch of hippies would get the medical stuff, which was being widely prescribed, and then they would do it recreationally. But then the US government decides that the Cold War is going on, and they believe that the Russians and the Chinese are working on mind control, and they're like, if we're not working on mind control, we are behind. And so the CIA spends in like 60s or 50s money, the $240,000 to buy up pretty much the entire world's supply of pharmaceutical LSD. And then they start doing their MK Ultra experiments where they start to try and see, can we use LSD as a truth serum? Can we use this to break people in interrogations? Can we use this to change people's ideas? Can we use this to indoctrinate people? And so they start doing a bunch of unethical experiments. And the 1-2 of the CIA using it as a weapon and hippies using it for fun ends up getting it banned, which Albert Hoffman was very upset about because he always insisted this has so much potential for good, you should not ban it because of a moral panic. But unfortunately, it got banned.
So in honor of Hoffman, I give you this sketch.
Yes.
Well, I've synthesized a new psychedelic drug. I've taken what I believe is a microdose of it. So I guess there's only one thing left to do. Go for a bike ride.
our very own bicycle day.
That was pretty great. I loved that. That was a very good. It sort of puts you inside the mind of Albert Hoffman as he is going home and just utterly bugging out. Yeah, no, that's absolutely great.
Susan said you can watch any
part,
kids movie from the 70s.
I got the idea for the bad trip part in the middle of it because those birds, that sound of birds was real. That tree in that cul-de-sac was just full of birds.
That's so funny.
When I got there and they were just going insane, I was like, "That's where the trip would turn." Like
exactly.
Like, oh no,
those birds. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
My wife wanted me to point out that I have never taken drugs. That was more an experiment on what I could do in After Effects and trying every different effect in After Effects than what it's actually like to take drugs. So,
well, that is a very good exercise in creative empathy because I feel like that pretty well encapsulated the whole mind state that he was probably in at that time, especially given that he didn't know he'd done psychedelic drugs.
That's true.
Right. All right, so
someone
we
once
are
gave
at the
me microdose to shrooms and nothing changed. So I'm either always like that or something.
So we are at the quiz the author section of the show, and I do have a fun quiz for you this week. So
all right.
One of the characters in your stories was William Shakespeare. And you pointed out in the book that Shakespeare is responsible for creating, I believe it's over 1,700 words.
Yeah, he's created a lot of words.
We're going to go through them. You knew a lot of them in the book, or at least you researched a lot of them in the book. So you may just ace this. Like you may just know every one of these examples right off the top of your head, in which case this is more a quiz for the peculiars. But you are our final answer in the quiz. The peculiars will help you. And the quiz this week is called Shakespeare Said It. So these are 3 words that he invented, and I will read you the actual lines here. So
all right, love it.
This is from The Life and Death of King John, Act 2, Scene 1. And this is Philip the Bastard speaking. And he says, "Here's a large mouth, indeed, that spits forth death in mountains, rocks, and seas, talks as familiarly of roaring lions as maids of 13 do of blank." Was it A, kitty cats, B, puppy dogs, or C, bunny rabbits?
Ooh, that is tricky because those are all totally plausible. But wow, I'm trying to think of what would rhyme in like Shakespeare.
Skeptibrarian is going for A. I'm going to go for B. I'm going to say B here.
Jesus. Wow.
These are hard on purpose. Yeah, we learn a lot.
That is hard. You know what? I'm going to go with B, but I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm going for B. I've got a couple of A's, and no one's choosing bunny rabbits here, so we'll see where it goes.
All right, the answer is yes, puppy dogs.
Oh, it's puppy dogs.
Adorable little puppy dogs.
Oh,
he's the one that invented. So you point out a lot of these are sometimes contractions or putting 2 words together that have been put together before. So he coined the term puppy dogs, which I still call Kenobi my puppy dog. So
he is your puppy dog.
I have Shakespeare to thank for that.
Yeah, Shakespeare was good at making those words up.
All right, question number 2 of 3. From History of Henry VI, Part 1. This is Act 4, Scene 7. Sir William Lucy said, "Is Talbot slain, the Frenchman's only scourge, your kingdom's terror and black nemesis? Oh, were mine blank into bullets turned, that I in rage might shoot them at your faces." What was he turning into bullets? Was he turning eyeballs, B, eyelashes, or C, nostrils? What word did Shakespeare invent for the human body?
Given that Shakespeare likes to mash 2 previously existing words together and make a new word, I'm going to go with eyeballs. But again, that I don't have like absolute knowledge here. I might be wrong.
Skeptibrarian sticking with A. Sadie pointed out that our last C answer was very Monty Python. Abby's going with A. Yeah. Susan says got to be B.
I apologize to our podcast listeners for the video this week was very visually based. So our podcast listeners, I hope you enjoyed a minute and a half of interesting music. All right, the answer is yes, A,
it's
eyeballs. Eyeballs.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2.
Into bullets turned. All right, question number 3, your final question from Romeo and Juliet, a classic. This is from Act 5, Scene 1. Romeo says, "Sharp misery had worn him to the bones, and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, and blank stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes." Was it A, albacore, B, alligator, or C, anaconda?
You know,
Remember, this is an animal that never had this name before Shakespeare.
So funny. I love this. I hope it's alligator. I hope that alligators from Florida swamps are named by William Shakespeare. This would make me really happy.
Yeah, this is tricky because I'm trying to think of things. It's like because Shakespeare writes so often about places that are not.
Oh, he grows up again.
Not-
Hang
not
on, he's
in
coming
England.
back.
Then a British person I feel like is most likely to find A, but he constantly takes stories from elsewhere. So oh Jesus.
Some
I
librarians going with B.
you know what? Alligator is just such a funny word that I'm going to go with that.
It is. Randy's suggesting might be albacore. But
All right, the answer is B, alligator.
oh my gosh, we got all 3.
Yes.
This took me one of my favorite deep dives on the internet is what is the difference again between alligators and crocodiles? And it's if it's the pointy snout, it's the crocodile, and if you can see the teeth on the outside, it's the crocodile. If it's a
I thought it was
if
if
the
you
teeth
saw
are
it later, it's an alligator.
After a while,
And if you've seen it in a
crocodile.
while, it's a crocodile.
But yeah, think about that. I believe this one he used like the Latin term, and then he basically invented the English term off of the Latin term or something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That he loved doing that. He loved
I
doing
love
that.
is
We would
hilarious.
never know what an alligator was.
We
if
would
it wasn't
never
for
know what an
Shakespeare.
alligator was. We'd be like that one that has the other snout. We wouldn't have a name for it. We'd be like the not crocodile
Yeah,
one. That one.
I gotta look up where they even have alligators because it's like
yeah, where do you
some
find
places
that?
have some places have crocodiles and some places have alligators. I always think of like just the U.S. when I think of alligators.
I know,
I think of like a swamp in Florida. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I think
exactly.
of.
Like
Right,
Shakespeare
yeah.
just took a quick side turn somewhere. You know, he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
he
ended
went
up in
down
Florida.
to he went down to Louisiana and like and hung out with a bunch of Cajun guys and they took him on a boat to go see some gators.
Right,
like
exactly. Yeah. By the way,
Randy,
I have
Randy,
has a
you
really...
keep trying. Randy said 0 for 3. My streak continues. You hang in there, Randy.
You hang in there, Randy. Sadie says, I just feel like we need to have this in. Going to a porta potty while tripping is a whole thing. Usually results in emergency while cheering. I did it.
Yeah,
she's like, so I hear. I've heard.
I pity anybody who goes into a porta potty while tripping. That is a bad environment to be. I mean, the smell, really everything about it is just like not suited to having a good experience. They talk about set and
really
setting
think
a
that I
lot.
pity...
That's a bad set and setting.
I think that I pity anyone who's in a porta potty.
A porta potty in general is a bad situation. It's those things smell bad.
Yeah, they do.
They have not managed to figure out how to make them not be terrible.
I went to the 100th year Harley Davidson whatever thing that happened in Wisconsin.
Oh,
yeah, I did that, and that was an experience. And there were porta potties that they didn't have enough of those for that many bikers and the types of diets that they eat. So
yeah,
it was a disturbing situation.
Yeah, no, that is some disturbing stuff. I'm sorry that you experienced that.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's reason. I mean, I didn't want to go on this bike rally thing, but sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't ever do anything. I should do this. And then you're like, no, I shouldn't have done that.
It's a valuable cultural experience. Oh, wow. As a reason that I don't take part in this cultural experience.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's a cultural experience I didn't really need. Well,
yeah.
It has been an amazing time. It's an amazing
Absolutely.
book. If you guys have not, if you haven't read it, please go out and read it. If you've read it, share it with friends. We have it for sale on book club, our bookclub.org site. Bookclub.org. No, not book club. Bookshop.org. That's it. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this show. Please go visit Sam's TikTok as well, and you can get even more fun, like sort of short versions of what goes on in the book. And we got to watch Davey make chicken nuggets. I don't know.
That's right.
There we go.
this was a whole meal deal kind of show today, you know. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So thanks again, Sam. Thanks to all of you for being here to play Swear. If you're weird.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure to be here, and thanks to everybody who showed up for this. This was a great time, and I really enjoyed it.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And as we always say here at Peculiar Book Club, if you're weird, you're family.
Yeah. You got the blue bottle blues when you wake up in the night. Don't make a big mistake, 'cause you can never make it right. When you reach out for the vial, feel the ridges in the glass. It's a matter of survival, baby, better watch your back. There is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote.